where they'd send out messages saying, here comes the man, be careful, watch out for this type of vehicle, this red Ford Taurus or whatever. Today's discussion is on government oversight. So I own a car wash here in my town, and there used to be a drive-through car wash here. The equipment was old. I bring out an expert. I say, hey, I'd like to redo this equipment. He said, oh yeah, we can redo this equipment. It costs maybe $40,000. We can get it up and running. And it'll run. But it may break down in a few months, and it'll probably cost you $10,000 every time it breaks down. I'm like, I'm out. I don't want to do that. That doesn't sound smart. So I turned it into an emission station, sometimes called a smog check station. In a lot of states, not every state, but in a lot of states, you have to have your car tested every year to make sure it is not emitting smog or unburnt carbons, which is bad for the environment. So I thought, I'm gonna go into the smog business. And I created a smog shop. And I went to the school and learned how to do smog testing. I couldn't do one today. I forget how to do it. Here's the machine. There's one machine supplier in our state of Nevada. So if there's anything wrong with it, you gotta call that one supplier. Even down to changing this keyboard. Keyboards go out every once in a while. Well, this keyboard is plugged into the back behind a locked door that I don't have keys to. So to replace that $12 keyboard cost me about 200 bucks. So, but they have the government contract. There's some other things I did in the smog shop. I created a lot of customized and just cool signs that I like. This is Sheriff Buford T. Justice. That was a great movie from my childhood. This is the Jump to Freedom. This is when an East Germany officer, as they're building the Berlin Wall, he's guarding to make sure no one jumps over at the last second. He makes the jump to freedom. This is when the wall came down. This, of course, is Walter Cronkite announcing the death of President Kennedy. Judd Nelson. Judge Reinhold. Got Farrah Fawcett right here. When I was 10 years old, I was in love with Farrah Fawcett. She's smoking hot. Arnold Palmer and Jack Nicklaus. Anyhow, I tried to make the signs enjoyable, so people are coming in as they're sitting here waiting for 5 or 7 minutes to get their smog check. They can look at signs and enjoy their time here. The biggest burden I've had is the Department of Motor Vehicles. It's not their intention, it's just kind of the system. So to be a licensed smog technician, you have to take a class. Well, there's only one class that's held by the junior college here occasionally if they get enough students to sign up. So it's very hard to fire anybody because you can't hire somebody because they haven't been through the class because they're not holding the class yet. So if somebody comes and says, I'd like to be a smog technician, we go, oh man, that'd be great, we'd love to hire you. We'll hire you, but you know what, there's not a class this month. It's not even gonna be next month, it'll be the month after that. So what is this employee gonna do? Stand around and wait to get hired? Heck no, he goes to work somewhere else. Super hard. Keeping employees is difficult because of the schooling that is required. I'm working on that though. The other issue is performing a smog. There's a little bit of skill set to it. And the Department of Motor Vehicles have law enforcement officers that will send a car through our smog shop. It's what they call a covert car. Covert, undercover. So they send a car through that should not pass for some little reason. Now they say they don't hide the reason or they make the reason obvious, but sometimes you make a mistake. And if you pass a car that shouldn't pass, They flash their badge at you and they write you a citation, 2 citations, and you lose your job. So you can't be a smog technician anymore if you make a mistake twice. And if they get you once, I'll guarantee within a few weeks they're back because they want to catch you again. So it's a little bit of cat and mouse game. At one time there was a Facebook group where they'd send out messages saying, here comes the man, be careful, watch out for this type of vehicle, this red Ford Taurus or whatever. It's a disaster because they're poaching employees, and employees, if they get as I said, if they fail twice, they have to go through the schooling again. And the schooling is like 2 weeks long every night and costs $400 or $500. And so you know what these employees do? They go, forget this, this is crazy. Why am I doing this? I'm gonna go to work over here. And we lose an employee. That makes the employees we have emboldened and less than the ideal key model employee. I drove by one of our other shops the other day. We're supposed to open at 7:30 and it was 5 minutes to 8 and the guy wasn't there. And I can't fire him. I can, but I can't hire a replacement right now. So it's it's a mess. It's a terrible system. The state also has an exemption. You can get an exemption if your vehicle's over 25 years old. Well, it was designed for classic vehicles that you drive under 5,000 miles a year, like an old 57 Chevy, something like that. I could drive through this parking lot right here at the grocery store and find a 25-year-old, so what would that be? A 98 Toyota Corolla that's exempt. It's probably spewing fumes, but it's exempt. It's over 25 years old, and so they don't have to pay for a smog, and they don't have to get smogged. And there's no system to verify that they don't drive over 5,000 miles a year. So they drive it. It's a daily driver. They're spewing smog. It's crazy, but that's the system. So it's a little difficult. I don't think I want to be in a business where the government oversight is so onerous, and there's joy in flashing a badge and citing people. So I'm working on it. Maybe if I tear down this car wash, which is one of my plans, I'll get rid of this smog shop. But I'm also working to create an online school where we can learn the smog tech business online. That's a different business venture I'll share with you in the future if it works out. So that's our discussion today on government oversight.